What is up, everyone? My name is Brandon, guys, and this is Creative Guys Productions. Listen, I've been telling myself over and over again, Brandon, make more content, Brandon, make more content, Brandon, make more content, and I always fail, but here I am trying this one more time, and what I'm here to do is I'm going to sharpen this 6-inch chef's knife that I just finished the handles up on. We are going to be using the Revolution 2x72. Shout out to Brian Housewert over there in Fort Myers. We are currently enjoying sunny, very, very balmy Central Florida, so he's about 2 hours away from me. But yeah, we're gonna use Revolution to get it done. It's how I sharpen all my knives, whether it's a fresh build like this, or one that I own, or one for a client, or one for, you know, a buddy or whoever. Even my little, get that out, little Benchmade folder that I carry with me everywhere I go. It all gets sharpened right here. So for starting out, you'll notice that my platen is kind of angled downward. All that is, it allows me to get up in here a little bit easier. It could be straight up. I had this mounted a little bit lower, but it's high, so I push that forward. I am starting out with this initial bevel with an X45 Trizac belt, Norax Trizac, one of the two. X45, it's a structured abrasive belt. I believe this is the equivalent of a 320 grit, and that's what I'm going to use just to put the initial bevel on, get the initial burr, and then we'll kind of step up from there and get that edge really honed in. So I'm going to move this camera because I only brought one out with me, and I only brought a fixed focal length lens, which, let me tell you, wasn't the smartest thing. And then see what kind of angle I can get, and we'll get to sharpen this thing. Hold tight. All right, so you can't really see me too well, but you can see the belt. Again, this is an X45. It is around a 320 grit equivalent. What I'm going to do over here, you can't see it, but I am putting the drive in reverse, and I'm putting this at about a quarter speed. Now this is going to get loud. There's no way around it, so it kind of is what it is. I'll turn it off if I need to say anything else. All right, so moving on. I don't know if I'll be able to bring this in tight enough, if it'll focus tight enough. There, you can actually see that burr that built up. It did build up a pretty good burr with that, and that's all I'm looking for. Just get that burr started, and you really want that burr to be even the entire length of the blade. You want them to be the same size the whole way, which tells you that you're grinding the same amount of material off. If you notice, while I was working, I've kind of been doing this long enough now that I can just kind of guesstimate the angle. But if you look at the angle that this is at, and you figure that's about 90 degrees there, all right, half of that is 45, half of that is 23 and a half, and I'm about here as I'm grinding. So we're somewhere between, guessing, a 12 to 15 degree bevel, which I think is really solid for a kitchen knife. It doesn't give you the strongest secondary bevel, but it does give you one that gets ridiculously sharp. So while this may dull a little faster than something like a 25 degree bevel, it is going to be a lot sharper initially. Also, the likelihood that you're not cutting sticks with your kitchen knife. You're not, batoning. You're not, doing activities that are just super high stress on the bevel. So you can handle that lighter grit. That shallower bevel. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this one, and I'm gonna come over here and grab another belt. This is, I don't know, it's worn on the inside, I can't tell, but it is the equivalent of a 650 grit. So while that's a pretty big jump, and I would never jump that far if I were grinding bevels, primary bevels, this really isn't a problem. It may take a few more swipes than it would if I would have go, you know, stepped up a little more gradually, but really it's fine. So let's get this thing going. Really, it's just that quick. So now I'm going to take this off. I'm going to grab this 800 grit belt and just do a few passes. And what you got to remember is that I built up that initial burr at a 320 grit. That knife is sharp. As it sits right now, the knife is sharp. As soon as you have a burr, that knife is sharp. So all I'm doing now is I'm taking that itty bitty little secondary bevel that I put in, and I'm just polishing it. I'm refining it. I'm taking away the grit from that bevel. So I'm just moving on up in grit. There, that's all that is. 2 passes on each side, moving on up. Next, I'm grabbing yet another structured abrasive belt. This is a 1200 grit, and this will actually be the final of the structured abrasive belts that I'll use. Quick 2 passes on there, and the whole time I am watching that burr move from side to side. So essentially what you're doing is, as you take material away, the material folds over to the other side once it reaches that apex, and you come back and you come back and you come back, and it's literally all I'm doing is just flipping that burr left and right. And in the meantime, again, I'm smoothing out that bevel. Now what I have thrown on is a 2x72 leather stropping belt. So I have taken the time again to build that burr and to fold it over. Now I need to remove that burr, and that will expose, let's see if I can get that in there, that will expose the sharpened edge underneath. If you look right now, I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'm kind of folding that burr over. It's just like a little piece of wire. You can feel it on there. And I'm just going to take that burr off, and what's going to be left is going to be that razor sharp edge. Now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to add some white polishing compound to this, just a little bit, and it's just going to polish that edge up so it really stands out. There we go. It's messy, but it does the job. Now with this is actually a little bit quieter, running with this belt. With this, the thing to remember is that you had an angle that you were keeping as you're coming through. You want to flatten that angle out just a little bit, because what will happen is if you get too steep, it'll just cut your leather belt, because again, the knife is sharp already. So we're just going to take it a little bit more shallow, and you can watch that burr just start to melt away. And really, that's all she wrote. This thing is sharp. I guarantee it. I haven't tested it yet. I guess we should do that, huh? I can feel it. If you look, can you see my thumbnail? You see it scratching the crap out of my thumbnail. This thing is sharp, 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 sharp. Prior to getting this leather stropping belt, what I would do is I'd literally take a leather strop with just a piece of leather glued to a piece of wood and would just strop it back and forth. You can imagine that took quite a bit longer than this, which is why this is such an upgrade to have this 2x72 leather strap. I think this was like, it was like 40 or 50 bucks just for this belt. Now, this belt lasts a good long time and it cuts down the time of stropping these like crazy. But anyway, let's check to see if this thing's sharp or not. So, funny story. Back when I was learning how to play guitar, back in the day, I had downloaded all of these torrents with songbooks in them, with the music, the tab underneath it. These are like official. And so now that everything's digital, I don't need them anymore. This is what I use to test my night sharpness with. This is Floaty by the Foo Fighters, the first 2 pages. Key of E major, kind of cool. Yeah, whatever. These are bad tests. I mean, no matter what, they're bad tests. They're just the fun ones. And I just like to, the one thing this does do is it lets you know if you have a consistent cut all the way through. So if I start here, at the very butt of the blade, and rip it all the way through, and it is nice and smooth the whole way, that's a sharp freaking nut. I mean, that is, I'm making a mess here, but you get it. Another thing is there's a push cut. Instead of sliding through, can you just take it and just push it through? If so, you've got a sharp freaking knife. Go to your kitchen right now. Try this with a piece of paper with one of your kitchen knives, and you tell me if you got a sharp knife. Even to the point where you can sit and kind of shape it. Now there's the S cut. You go in, make multiple curves like that. This thing is bloody sharp. I'm making too much of a mess in my outdoor shot. Next, water bottle. Let's move my phone out of the way here. I don't know about this little construction. I actually built this for something else and then didn't end up using it, so now it's serving this purpose, but it seems to work. Ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. It did knock it over, but it took the top of that thing clean off. That there. We'll go ahead and say we've got a sharp knife. Alright, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I truly appreciate it. That's how I sharpen a knife. I like to do this little twirl in my like story videos and whatnot. I'm a lot more apprehensive to do it once it's actually sharp. Anyway, I'm gonna put this up on Rumble. It will end up on YouTube as well. If you are watching this on YouTube, I appreciate it. I would appreciate it even more if you go over to Rumble, because I'm not the biggest fan of YouTube. I use YouTube all the time because it's still a superior product, but I really want the folks to be on Rumble because I think Rumble is doing the right things. So it's thundering out. We're gonna get another storm. It's been storming for literally like 3 weeks straight here. Every day, it's been miserable. My grass needs mowed and it's been so wet that I just can't do it. Anyway, I appreciate you hanging out. I appreciate you coming down to Central Florida and doing whatever. These, as of right now, there's 2 of them. There's this one, there's the other one. There's this one that I have not sharpened yet. They're a 6 and 8 inch little kit that will improve your kitchen. They'll be up for grabs very soon. I'm actually gonna shut this camera off. I'm gonna sharpen this one without the camera. It's gonna be way faster. And they will be ready to rock and roll to go to their new home. So if you're in the market these are still available. By the time this gets up, I'm not sure. If I'm completely honest, I've sold more knives from my stories on Instagram than any other avenue. Do people go to my website? Nope. I've had to direct people, hey, where do I see your knives? And I send them to my website, even though it's on every social media thing that I have. Literally stories on Instagram. Oh man, I need that one. Great. I'll let you know when it's done. And that's been kind of the way it's gone. These were not so lucky, but they did not get as much airtime because I slacked on posting content, which is what I'm trying to improve. This is what we're here for, to improve. Anyway, guys, thank you. I know I'm long-winded. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Hopefully you got something from this, or at least enjoyed it, or like seeing my smiling face. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next one. Later.